What's going on, guys? I'm Man Advantage and welcome back to another NHL 22 HUD video. In our previous video, we had ranked every single X Factor, and in today's video, we're going to be ranking all of the icons. Now, if you're saving up those monthly collectibles, you'll be able to access one of these icon choice packs relatively soon, and I wanted to make sure that you were ahead of the curve so you know which icons to take and which ones to probably leave on the sidelines. As a quick reminder before we get into today's video, we're going to be doing this exactly as we did in the ranking every X Factor video, where we have a 4-rank system. The 4 categories that we're going to be using to rank these X Factors are Avoid, which are cards that you just may want to leave on the sidelines or not choose in a choice pack. The second category is Okay. These cards aren't going to hurt your team, but they're not necessarily going to give you a big advantage. The third category is Good, which these cards are good to have on your team. And lastly, the fourth and final category is Great, meaning these cards have a huge advantage above the rest. The items I took into account in ranking these cards are: first, the player's future upgrades and potential throughout the season. Second, their X Factor zone abilities as well as superstar abilities. Third, the price to upgrade these cards. And lastly, size and speed. Kicking things off here is JEAN-SEBASTIEN GIGUERE from the Anaheim Ducks, starting off at 84 overall. Of course, you can get him up to an 85. He does either have Light the Lamp or Booming Shot. Again, for goalies, guys, this is definitely not one that I would pick, especially 25,000 coins or 1 power collectible just to get him up to an 85 overall. There's already better goalies in the game than that. And for an icon pack, well, that's simply just not worth it. However, I do kind of think that his superstar ability is interesting, especially for the tips. So advanced save ability, reaction time, and recovery on deflections for 2 ability points. Again, probably wouldn't activate it, but it's just interesting because that's the first time that we've seen tip jar on any other player. Next up, from the Arizona Coyotes, we've talked about this card previously, was Shane Doan. Now, again, just like many of the other X Factors, he's starting off at 83 overall. You can get him up to an 84 for only 15,000 coins or 1 power-up collectible. I'm going to go ahead and rank this card at Avoid. If you're an Arizona Coyotes fan and you love Shane Doan, he's not going to terribly hurt you. I do like the fact that he does have Fly in the Zone, so that is going to increase his speed. His superstar ability is an interesting one. For only 1 ability point, I think it's really interesting. So advanced stick tension and strength when going into pickups, resulting in more wins when battling for the puck. So for 1 ability point, I really think that's worth it. I like his size at 6'1", 223. I just think for most lineups, he's really not going to fit into your lineup very well. Again, at only 86 speed at this stage of the game, he wouldn't even make my lineup. But again, if you're an Arizona Coyotes fan, he's okay. Otherwise, avoid Shane Doan. Up next from the Boston Bruins is 86 overall Ray Bourque. Now, you can upgrade him for 2 power collectibles or 50,000 coins. In my opinion, Ray Bourque is one of the best icons you can select at this time, so I would mark him as great. And there's a few reasons why. First off, his synergies, magician, well-rounded, not too bad. Again, those are going to change as he gets upgraded, so those really aren't anything to worry about at this stage of the game. I do like both his superstar ability and his zone ability, but especially his zone ability. I have Seeing Eye right now on X Factor Dougie Hamilton, and it is unreal. It's a superstar ability, but Ray Bourque is one of the few cards that I've seen so far that have it as a zone ability. So what is it? It's exceptional power and accuracy on shots when the goalie is screened. So a screen goalie's reaction time is also greatly reduced when shooting with this ability. Talk about unreal. If your game is playing and shooting the puck from the point, it is so overpowered already as a superstar ability. I can't even imagine as a zone ability, especially on somebody like Ray Bourque, where if you do have some of his synergies activated, again, he's already 88 slap shot power. He's already 87 and 89 wrist shot accuracy and slap shot accuracy to begin with. This is a fantastic card. I also don't hate his superstar ability at in reverse. Again, that's going to help him have advanced speed when he's skating backwards, and also gives him the ability to pivot from forward to backward skating quite easily. So I do like this. As far as defensively goes, still pretty solid defensive defenseman. So we have him at 92 overall defensive awareness and 88 stick checking. I don't love the fact that he's only 5'11", but at 220 and pretty good stability and strength, I would say that this is one of the best options you have, and that's why I'm going to rank Ray Bourque as great. Up next from the Boston Bruins is Johnny BUCYK. You can get him up to tier 2 or an 85 overall at 25,000 coins or 1 power collectible. He has 2 speed synergies in Spark and Distributor. He 100% needs them. Coming in at 87 overall speed, 85 acceleration, shot is mid 80s. Hands are pretty much high 80s for the most part. You know, not a bad card, but for a winger, I mean, you can't use him on face-offs. At 57 face-offs, I know they don't matter on online, but my goodness, that's abysmal to put him on face-offs. He's just a slow winger. I probably wouldn't use this card. I think his superstar ability is an interesting one. It's called Creature Crasher, so that's going to be advanced ability at corralling bouncing pucks off of rebounds, increased shot accuracy on rebounds. Normally I wouldn't activate this, but this year rebounds seem to be the thing, and I don't know if it's just me, but there seems to be, anytime that there is a rebound, it seems to be going in. It's almost like the goalies can't reset fast enough or something like that. So for me, I think this is an interesting one to activate. But again, for Johnny BUCYK, I would put him as an avoid. Coming up next is Adam Oates, 5'11", 190. He is a center. I do love the fact that his faceoffs are very high. Again, that only affects you in offline play unless there is a tie-up. And you can get him up to an 85 overall right now, 25,000 coins or 1 power-up collectible. I don't hate Third Eye, I just probably wouldn't activate it. Again, it's going to be increased pass assist with the advanced ability to auto-saucer passes out of a player's field of vision. So for 3 ability points, probably wouldn't activate it. I do like the fact that he has Fly the Zone, so 88 speed, offensive awareness is a 95, shot is pretty good. Face-offs are a 94, so if you do a lot of offline play, I'm gonna rate this card actually as an okay. I don't think he's gonna hurt you, I don't think he's gonna necessarily help you, but he could probably slot in there on the 4th line center for a lot of teams. And rounding out the Boston Bruins is Brad Parkett, 6', 190. Not a bad defenseman. I don't love this card, I really don't. He has the option to either have Wingman or Fly the Zone, which will help increase his speed. He's going to cost 25,000 coins or 1 power-up collectible to get him up there. I do like the fact that his defensive awareness is a 96 if you do put on Wingman and activate that. I also do love his superstar ability at only 2 ability points. Again, Quick Pick is one of the best options that you have for defensemen. As a reminder, Quick Pick gives defensemen an advanced ability to intercept pucks, so it also increases a player's range when intercepting pucks. So to cut off those cross creases, which really aren't quite as relevant this year, still a huge superstar ability, and for only 2 ability points would 100% put it on. I don't love his speed. I don't really love his size. I would say he's okay, but I think there's going to be a lot of better options for you, so for the most part, avoid. Coming up next from the Buffalo Sabres is Pat LaFontaine. I believe that's how you say it. At 5'10", 180. He's a little bit small, but he is pretty quick. So you can get him up to an 85 overall right now for 25,000 coins or for 1 power-up collectible. 2 synergies he has for the time being are Booming Shot and Protector. So if you do activate those, it actually turns into quite the fast card. To complement that, his superstar ability is Off the Rush, so that's going to give him advanced accuracy when taking slap shots while skating. Don't know how much that comes into play unless you're really ripping clappers for some reason. You know, sure, that's cool, but I think where this card stands out is in its shot and its speed. So again, 90 acceleration, 90 speed, 89 agility, and pretty much across the board high 80s in shooting and hands. So overall, I'm gonna rank this card as okay. The reason I do have him as just an okay is because at his size at 5'10", 180, otherwise I'd rank him as good. Up next from the Calgary Flames, one of my favorite players, Jarome IGINLA. I loved him as a Pittsburgh Penguin in his brief stint in Pittsburgh, which was, I believe, like 12 games, but you gotta love Jarome IGINLA. If you don't, then I don't know, you're missing out. But I will say, as much as I love him as a player, I don't really love this card. Let's take a look at it. You can get him up to an 85 overall right now for 1 power-up collectible or 25,000 coins. Again, synergies for the time being are either going to be Gladiator or Well-Rounded. I don't love or hate Snipe. I just don't believe that it's worth it, especially for 5 ability points. Not worth throwing it on. But if we take a look a little bit further at IGINLA's card, only 86 speed, 85 acceleration. He's big enough and his faceoffs are good enough, however, to put him at center if you so choose. I do like his defensive awareness. I do like his stick checking. Overall, I'm gonna rate this card as okay. I don't think it's gonna hurt you or help you. Again, if you're a big IGINLA fan, it's not gonna hurt to throw on your team, but I just simply think that there's better options out there. Up next from the Flames is MACINNIS at 6'2", 204. You can currently get his card also up to an 85 for 25,000 coins or 1 power collectible. 2 synergies for the time being, Bombarded or Applesauce. I would probably throw on Bombarded simply because that's gonna help out his slap shot a little bit more, but for sake of this, we'll put on his wrist shot. I do like his slap shot power, already at a 93. Unfortunately, that accuracy is going to come down a little bit, but again, you could increase that with Bombarded, so it's gonna help out a little bit. I don't love his speed, only at 84 speed and 83 acceleration. I'm afraid that this card might get burned. He does have 94 stick checking and 89 defensive awareness. And I really actually do love the superstar ability, especially for only one ability point. It's called No Contest, which is going to give him advanced stick tension and strength when going into pickups, resulting in more wins when battling for the puck. So down low below the net and in and around the net may not be a bad card to have. I would only put this card at okay if you had a really quick defenseman like maybe Quinn Hughes or Cale Makar to complement this card. Otherwise, I just have to say avoid. I think he's gonna hurt you a lot more than he's gonna help your team. Up next from the Carolina Hurricanes, we have Rod Brind'AMOUR. I do love this card, and I do love Rod Brind'AMOUR. He does have either Bombarded or Light the Lamp. I would probably throw on Light the Lamp because he does need some help there. However, at 6'1", 205, he's a pretty decent center. I like his size. I don't mind superstar ability as Born Leader. Again, provides a large energy boost for all skaters on the team after this player scores a goal. Could be helpful. Again, it's only one ability point, so if you just need to throw it in there to round you up to 35 for the time being, then sure, go ahead and activate that. I think his speed and acceleration is decent at 88 and 86 respectively. His shot is okay, pretty much mid to high 80s for everything. He's just a very balanced card. I'm gonna rate him at okay. I just wish he was a little bit quicker, and I wish that shot was a little bit more accurate. So we're to leave Rod Brind'AMOUR at okay for the time being. Moving on to the Chicago Blackhawks, we have 86 overall Stan Mikita. You could get him up to an 87 for 50,000 coins or 2 power collectibles. He does have Fly the Zone, which I 100% would activate to start. It's gonna give him 88 speed or 86 acceleration. Shot is pretty solid, 88 wrist shot accuracy, 86 power for both slap shot and wrist shot, and 87 accuracy on the slapper. Superstar ability is Total Eclipse. When screening with this player, the goalie's reaction time is reduced. So if you couple that up with somebody like Ray Bourque or Dougie Hamilton who has Seeing Eye, talk about overpowered. Now, I haven't used this yet, but I can only imagine that it would be fantastic if that was the case. By itself, I'm gonna rate this card at good, simply because I think his stats are solid, but I would rate it as great. If you have a defenseman with Seeing Eye, I would 1,000,000% rate this card as great, and I would 100% pick up this card because you could rip those shots from the point with both of their superstar and zone abilities activated. That's probably gonna be pretty overpowered. Yoink is an okay zone ability. Again, I probably wouldn't activate that. I would probably put on Total Eclipse before I would that. But again, as a reminder, Yoink is going to be exceptional accuracy when stick lifting against momentum or at speed. Opposing players take much longer to recover from stick lifts. I do like his defensive awareness and stick checking. Overall, I think this is going to be a great card, again, if you can pair it up with a defenseman that has Seeing Eye. And speaking of defensemen, next up we have Chris Chelios. It's 6 foot, 191. You can get him up to an 86 overall for either 40,000 coins or 2 power collectibles. I would probably put on Booming Shot. That is going to bump up his slap shot power to a 91, wrist shot power and slap shot accuracy, everything kind of there in the mid 80s. He is a little slow for my liking, but defensively, I really do like this card. Why? A couple of reasons. First off, defensive awareness is a 92. Stick checking is an 89 and shot blocking is an 88. Pair that up with his superstar ability of Stick 'em Up, where again, it gives you outstanding defensive stick speed, advanced accuracy when poke checking against momentum or speed, and reduces the chance of a penalty. So you can button mash RB, and Chris Chelios is probably for the most part going to be able to just swipe the puck off their stick. So that is OP. Born Leader, again, that's the one that provides a considerable energy boost for all skaters on the team after they score a goal. Probably wouldn't throw this on. I would 100% throw on Stick 'em Up, and I would say overall that this card is going to be good. In rounding out the Chicago Blackhawks, we have Jeremy Roenick. 6'1", 200-pound right-hand shot. I love Roenick cards in NHL. And I actually like this one too. I like it a lot. You can get him up to 85 overall for 25,000 coins or for 1 power collectible. For synergies for the time being, as we mentioned, it's Gladiator or Well-Rounded. So if you throw on real Well-Rounded for Roenick, you can get him up to 88 Excel, 88 Speed, 88 wrist shot power, 88 defensive awareness, pretty much 88s across the board everywhere you look. I love this superstar ability. Close quarters, if you haven't activated it on any of your players, I had this on Ray Ferraro. It's unbelievable. Advanced accuracy when taking wrist or snapshots in a close proximity to the net. If that's your game like mine, and that seems to be the meta goal this year, I'm gonna rate this card as great for that reason alone. I would 100% activate it. I think he's a very well-rounded card. and he's one that you can have in your lineup all year long. Moving on to the Colorado Avalanche, we have 87 overall, which you can now get to an 88. Patrick Waugh, 50,000 coins or 2 power collectibles. I love Patrick Waugh, but I probably wouldn't pick this card. I would simply have to say okay for the fact that, again, it's a goalie. I don't know how much it's really going to help you. In my personal opinion, I would probably look at least somebody that's going to skate out on the ice, but let's look at this card. So he has Dialed In, which is actually an interesting one. So it's going to be advanced boost in reaction time, recovery, and savability after making 15 saves in the game. Not sure how much that happens. Hopefully it doesn't happen to you very often. However, maybe it can help you from leaving the game and get away if you're getting beat up pretty bad out there. The next one is Sponge, advanced at making redirect controlled saves and more likely to attempt to cover the puck. I probably wouldn't activate that one either. And then lastly is Butterfly Effect, which is going to be exceptional reflexes when dropping and making low saves in Butterfly. Again, I probably wouldn't activate any of those. I do like the fact at least that he does have Spark and Buzzing, at least for the time being. He's a good card, but I would have to say avoid any goalie in these packs. Up next is the 86 overall, which you can upgrade to an 87, Peter Forsberg. I really like this card. I'm already gonna tell you right now, this card's great. And let's take a look at why that's the case. First off, he has Applesauce and Protector to start off. So again, those are obviously gonna change as this card continues to get upgrades throughout the year. But I do love this card for multiple reasons. First off, he's 6'1", 205. Left-hander, his acceleration is an 88, speed is an 89, shot is high 80s across the board, defensive awareness 93, shot blocking 89, stick checking also 89. I probably wouldn't activate puck on a string for him. I do like Unstoppable Force. That's going to give you exceptional strength with the puck and a greatly increased ability to hold onto the puck when off balance. I have this activated on YGIGURE, and whenever you drive to the net, especially for bigger cards like Peter Forsberg, I believe it's insanely overpowered, and I would 100% pick up this card if you have the chance. The second great card, in my opinion, on the Avalanche is 86 overall, which you could get to an 87, Joe Sakic. I love Sakic cards in NHL, and this continues to hold true in NHL 22 for multiple reasons. First off, he has Wingman or Fly the Zone, which is going to make him even faster. First off, if you put on Wingman, look at his acceleration already. 94 acceleration at an 87 overall card. Couple that with 89 speed, 94 wrist shot accuracy, 92 wrist shot power, 92 defensive awareness, and to topple that, he has either Make It Snappy or Snipe. I probably wouldn't put one of those two on just because they're a little bit overpriced in my opinion as far as what you get for those zone and superstar abilities. However, this card is by far great. In my opinion, this is the best one that we went over so far. So if you do have the opportunity to pick up Sakic, I would pick him up over Forsberg, although Forsberg is still great. Sakic so far is the best card that we have gone over yet in this video. Now, Columbus does not have any icons. However, they do have Rick Nash. Now, I know he's only an 80 overall for the time being. I used to love playing with Rick Nash cards back in the early NHLs when he was live and still in the NHL. At 6'4", 211, this card is huge. His shot's always pretty decent. His skating's always a little bit mediocre, but his hands and shooting are always immaculate. So if this card gets any upgrades throughout the year, I'd go ahead and definitely consider that for your team. Up next on the Dallas Stars, 84 upgradable to 85 overall, Ed Belfour. 25,000 coins or 1 power collectible. He does have post to post, which I heard is actually good for some people. I've also heard it being a little bit disadvantageous when activating it. I do like the fact that he has Fly the Zone and Wingman, so 2 speed synergies you could activate. But as we mentioned earlier, I would avoid any goalie card, especially out of these packs. Moving on, we have Joe NIEUWENDYK, 84 overall, which can be upgraded to an 85 at 6'2", 205. I like his size at center. I know we previously mentioned about face-offs not really mattering in online play, but offline, 91. That's pretty solid, and you can either put on Protector or Booming Shot for him. His card's okay. I would say it's okay. I do like his shot, 89 accuracy, 88 power, 85 slap shot accuracy as well, 88 speed, a little slow on the acceleration, but I would say overall this card's okay. I actually don't hate it. Maybe even could be considered good if you like Joe NIEUWENDYK and you really want him on your team. I don't think it's going to hurt you or help you necessarily. I simply think that there's better options out there. So for the most part, I would rank Joe NIEUWENDYK as okay. However, to round off our Dallas Stars list, we can't forget about Mike Modano. It's 6'3", 212. Again, you can get him up to an 85 overall for 25,000 coins or 1 power-up collectible. I like his superstar ability of Elite Edges. He definitely does either need Workhorse or Distributor. I would say probably put on distributor for him. It's going to get his speed up to, which would be an 89 technically if you get him to the 85 overall card, or workhorse is going to get his acceleration up to a 91. His shooting is actually surprisingly a little bit middle of the road, but again, MODANO is a solid card always in NHL. I'm going to say that this card is good for the fact that I believe after he gets a few upgrades, he will certainly slot in nicely to your fourth line center position. And hopefully throughout the year, he just continues to get better. But I always like playing with MODANO cards, and I know there's a lot of people out there as well that feel the same as I do. Overall, this card is good. I had to get some water before we talked about the Detroit Red Wings because there are so many icons on this team. I can make it a video in itself, and it's almost like I need more water right now. I'm choking up because we have GORDIE, one of the best cards in the game. 89 overall right now. You could get him up to a 90 for only 65,000 coins, guys, or 3 power collectibles. Why do I love this card? Not just because it's Mr. Hockey, but this card's actually pretty solid. 6'1", 205, defensive awareness is 92. Right now he's either Light the Lamp or Bombarder that you can activate. I would probably put on Light the Lamp because that's gonna help his wrist shot a little bit more. But let's go ahead and put Bombard on and let's just see what this card looks like. 87 excel, 87 speed, 94 balance, which is absolutely unreal. His hands are nasty, all in the low 90s. Shot is in the low 90s as well. I do like close quarters. We talked about this before, guys. This superstar ability is OP. 5 ability points. I would 1,000,000% activate that. Next, he has Unstoppable Force. Probably not bad to activate that, but I would probably put on Big Rig instead. Why? Exceptional strength and agility when driving the net and puck protect. Okay, so think about this for a second. Close quarters, what does that do? Advanced accuracy when taking wrist and snapshots in close proximity to the net. Hear me out for a second. I know this is 11 ability points, but these are the most complementary zone and superstar abilities I have yet to see on any card in NHL. Probably because it's Mr. Hockey and they decided to throw it on him because why not? First off, Big Rig. It's going to give you exceptional strength on the puck so you're able to hold onto it when you're cutting to the net and protecting the puck. You couple that with close quarters, which gives you advanced accuracy when taking wrist and snapshots in close proximity to the net, and you have one of the most overpowered cards in the game. Now, I know it's 11 ability points, but in my opinion, that's what makes this card a standout and is 100% great. If you come across GORDIE, please pick him up for your team and do yourself a favor and try out close quarters and Big Rig on the card. I can only imagine that it's unbelievable. Next up, we have 86 overall, which you can upgrade to an 87. NICKLAS LIDSTROM. For 50,000 coins or 2 power collectibles, you can get him up to that 87 overall. As we mentioned earlier, I love stick him up on defensemen, especially for only 2 ability points, and you couple that with Quick Pick, which is exceptional at intercepting pucks, also significantly increases a player's range when intercepting pucks. This is a great card. In addition to that, he is either Spark or Buzzing. I'd probably throw on Spark. That's gonna jump up his acceleration to an 87, speed to an 88. If we go ahead and look at his shot, it's going to be power in the 90s, accuracy in the mid 80s, and defense, pretty good. 91 defensive awareness, 88 stick checking, 88 shot blocking, strength and body checking are both low to mid 90s. This is a great card. I would go ahead and put it in the great category for a defenseman. Up next, we got Stevie Y, 5'11", 185. He's probably the best World of Chel build you can have, but I don't know about HUT. I think he's a good card, and we're just gonna go ahead and off the top call him good. And let's go through the reasons why that's the case. First off, he is well-rounded in Gladiator. Again, as I've mentioned a million times, and I'll probably stop mentioning at this point, those are going to change as these cards get more upgrades, so I wouldn't worry too much about the synergies for the time being. But for the sake of this video, we'll go ahead and activate well-rounded. He does have Born Leader. Again, that's the one for only 1 ability point. If they score, your team gets a boost in energy. I probably wouldn't activate it unless you really just have that 1 ability point left over. Go ahead and throw it on. Zone ability is Off the Rush, which gives exceptional power and accuracy when taking slap shots while skating. Probably wouldn't activate that one. His acceleration is 87, speed is an 87, wrist shot accuracy is a 90, wrist shot power is an 88. Yeah, I think he's a pretty good card. Defensive awareness is 94 and stick checking is an 89. Those are both very solid. His hands are great, face-offs are pretty good. Overall, it's a good card. Up next, 5'8", 163 is Ted Lindsay. You can get him up to an 86 overall for 40,000 coins or 2 power collectibles. I do like his synergies right now. Wingman and Fly the Zone, he definitely needs one of those because he's a little bit slow. Superstar ability, back at ya. Ability enables players to reverse hit opponents, maximize damage, and retain balance. Chance to knock opponent off balance is greatly increased. I actually think that's pretty good. Overall, I would say he's an okay card. I simply think where it matters, he just, I don't know. For me, it's not one of those things where, in my opinion, he's a fantastic card. I don't think he's going to help you too much. I like his abilities, but I don't like his size. 5'8", 163. He's a little bit too small for my liking. Shot is pretty good. I do like the zone ability, no contest. Exceptional stick tension and strength when going into pickups, resulting in more wins when bounding for the puck. I like that. I like that it sounds good, but I can't imagine if you have another player on the other side. Let's say, for example, he's going to the corner to get a puck against Victor Hedman. Like, he could probably just knock 10 Lizzie down, and it doesn't really matter what his zone ability is. So I can't see that being the case. Maybe those offset. I have yet to see, but his size puts him in the okay category for me. On the reverse side of that coin, we have Brendan Shanahan at 6'3", 220. He's a much bigger boy than Ted Lindsay. However, you can get him up to tier 2 and 86 overall for 40,000 coins or for 2 power-up collectibles. Gladiator and Heart and Soul are his 2 options right now. 87 excel, 87 speed. Shot's actually pretty good. 91 wrist shot power, 89 accuracy, and then 88 across the board respectively in shooting. Hands are high 80s, about to be low 90s. Yeah, I think this is actually a pretty good card, especially down the middle. 78 faceoffs, you could use him at center. I like his big body. Off the rush, again, wouldn't activate that. However, his zone ability at truculence, I actually kind of like this one. Exceptional stability and assist on shoulder checks. Greatly increases the chance of knocking over the opponent and sapping their energy. So I've seen this used on a few other cards, and I've actually been on the receiving end of truculence. It's unbelievable. It absolutely tosses people. So I would go ahead and throw Shanahan on at center. I think he's going to make a great defensive centerman, great on the penalty kill, and also probably a good 3rd or 4th line center for just about any team. And then lastly, we've talked about this card in the Icon Choice Pack video. So if you already have Igor Larionov, you can ignore this part because you already have him on your team. But overall, unfortunately, I would put him at avoid. Couple reasons why. First off, you can get him up to tier 2. He's only an 84 overall. It's not going to cost you that much at either 15,000 coins or 1 power-up collectible. But at 5'9", 172, and his speed just being pretty abysmal at 85 excel, 85 speed, I just don't love the card. His shot's mediocre. His hands are pretty good. That's probably the best thing about him. Overall, I would just avoid this card. Up next, we have the Edmonton Oilers, and starting off our list is, of course, Mark Messier. 88 overall, you can get him up to an 89 for only 60,000 coins or 2 power collectibles. He does have distributor, which I do love on him. Bring him up to a 90 speed. Acceleration's a little bit slow at only 84, but I think this is a fantastic card for the center position. We're already going to call him great. Let's go through the reasons why that's the case. As a reminder, off the rush is not one I would activate. I would activate truculence, especially on a big body like Messier, for only 2 ability points, much like Shanahan. That's going to absolutely yeet other players across the ice. Secondly, Born Leader, 2 ability points. Probably wouldn't activate this one, but as a zone ability, it might be a game changer. I'm not sure how much that energy actually gets affected, but if he's maybe your 1st or 2nd line center, that potentially could be a consideration. Going down through the rest of this card, however, 89 accuracy on slap shots, as well as 90 power, 92 accuracy and 90 power on the wrist shot, so that is unbelievable. But where this card stands out, in my opinion, are the defense and the hands. Passing is already a 96, that's unreal. Hand-eye 94, offensive awareness 95, puck control 94, defensive awareness 94, and stick checking 91. In my opinion, great card. Great one to pick up if you get him in your icon choice pack. Surprisingly, we only have 2 icons from the Oilers. They decided to put Gretzky on the Kings. So we have Jari Kurri. At 6'1", 198, you can get him up from an 85 to an 86 overall for only 40,000 coins or 2 power collectibles for the time being, Heart and Soul and Thief. I would probably activate Thief as we mentioned in previous videos. Superstar ability is Yoink. I would probably not activate that one. Advanced accuracy when stick lifting against momentum or speed. You maybe can. I like it more on defensemen, but for a winger, I don't know how much it comes into play. I'd probably say no, but again, if you have a 2 ability point slot, you can throw it in there. Certainly go for it. Now, we talked about close quarters earlier in the video. This is unreal. We haven't seen it on his zone ability yet. Exceptional power and accuracy when taking wrist/slap shots in close proximity to the net. So if you can get Jari Kurri up and around the net, In my opinion, yes, 1,000,000% do so. I'm in between good and great on this card. Why? He's a little slow for a winger. He always has been. 87 excel, 87 speed, not terrible, not great. 90 accuracy on the slap shot. I like his wrist shot accuracy, always pretty good, 89 to 86, but I'm thinking with close quarters, I'm gonna have to round him up to great, guys. That's such an amazing ability, especially on zone ability. We haven't seen that yet with any other player. We've only seen it in the superstar ability category. Go ahead and throw on close quarters for Jari Kurri. I would make him great. Up next, we have Wayne Gretzky. And now, I don't even know if you need my ranking for this card. It's already gonna be great, you know this, but you can get him up to a 90 overall for 65,000 coins or 3 power-up collectibles. I've only seen one on the market because, first off, he's gonna make your team and be on your team all year. Much like McDavid, he's one of the best cards in the game. He does have Thief, which I would 1,000,000% activate. Just look at this card's stats before we even get to the abilities. 93 acceleration, 93 speed, shooting is unbelievable, 95 accuracy on both the slap and the wrister, 93 power and slap shot, 92 power and wrist shot. Hands are unbelievable, literally 95 across the board. Defensive awareness, 98 when you activate Thief, as well as stick checking, 98 when you activate Thief. And face-offs, 96 when you activate Thief. Like, unreal. Obviously, if you get Gretzky, please, like, unless you're just losing your head, pick Gretzky. He's one of the best ones, I would say. Him and Lemieux are probably your 2 best picks. We haven't got to Lemieux yet, but again, this card's unbelievable. Let's go ahead and look at his abilities. He has tape-to-tape, advanced power and accuracy on all passes within vision. Passes will also auto-saucer when necessary. Probably wouldn't activate that, but I don't hate it for 3 ability points. Send it, increase pass assist with advanced ability to auto-saucer long passes for a centerman. For a defenseman, sure. Lastly, off the rush, we talked about that one, wouldn't activate that. And then third eye for 6 ability points, large increase to pass assist with exceptional ability to auto-saucer passes out of a player's field of vision. I actually don't really love his superstar zone abilities, but this card is so good alone by itself. That is what makes it great. And of course, it's the great one, Wayne Gretzky. Up next from the Kings, 5'9", 190-pound Marcel Dionne. He can get upgraded to an 87 overall for 50,000 coins or for 2 power collectibles, has Heart and Soul or Thief. Again, we would throw on Thief if we were going to do that. For some reason, I don't like when it doesn't let me upgrade it this way when I upgraded the player, but whatever. So for the time being, let's go ahead and look at this card. 89 excel, 89 speed, 89 shot, and also wrist shot power and accuracy, and also slap shot power and accuracy, except for the 87 slap shot power. I like this card. I think I would mark this card as good. I wouldn't make it great because of his size, 5'9", 190. He would be great otherwise. I like his stats. Back at you. We talked about this one before. That's the reverse hit, and he has tape to tape. I don't really love his zone abilities. So overall, I'm going to say that this card is good. I do like the stats. I don't love the zone abilities or the superstar ability, and I also don't love the size, but overall, pretty good card. It's not going to hurt you. His hands are all mid-90s, shots almost 90 across the board, and speed's almost 90 across the board. So overall, good card, but not a great one. Coming up next from the LA Kings, 6'4", 225, defensive legend, Rob Blake. You can get him up to an 86 overall for 40,000 coins or 2 power collectibles. I don't hate or love this energies, but again, these are going to change as time goes on. I don't mind Bombarded. I'd probably throw that on, but we're going to activate Applesauce for the sake of the video. Superstar ability, Thunderclap, advanced power when taking slap shots from the point. I do like that one. I don't love it. I've used it before, but again, I would activate Truculence, especially on a big defenseman like Rob Blake. It's going to absolutely obliterate the other players if you can hit them, so I like this card overall. Now, what I don't like, his speed. Unfortunately, I would rank this card as okay, and here's the reason why. 84 acceleration, 85 speed. I have a feeling he's gonna get burned way too often. Defensive awareness is 92, stick checking is 95. Yes, that's great. Strength is awesome, size is awesome, zone ability is fantastic, slap shot and shooting is great. It's just the speed that really concerns me. I have a feeling unless you have a other defenseman that is a lot quicker, or you're playing the 1-3-1 and you have Blake back, then maybe this card is good. But overall, it's almost like his skating is so bad that it makes the card unusable. I'm just gonna have to say okay for the time being. Next up from the LA Kings, we have 6'1", 215-pound Luc Robitaille. You can get him up to an 85 for 25,000 coins or 1 power collectible. Again, I do love the fact that he has Thief. We would certainly activate that on him. He has Close Quarters, Superstar ability. Again, we talked about this one before. I think it's one of the most OP Superstar / Zone abilities in the game. As a reminder, that's going to give him advanced accuracy when taking wrist or snapshots in close proximity to the net. 91 excel, 91 speed. Shot is pretty solid at 89 accuracy and 87 power and accuracy for both the slap shot as well. Defensive awareness, if we activate Thief, is 89, as well as stick checking is 91. Yeah, I'm gonna say this card's good. Definitely. I would almost put it up at great. I wish he was a little bit better in the hands category. He's kind of high 80s, but overall, this is a really good card, borderline great. I had to get some water again for this one, boys. Montreal Canadiens, of course, you know there's going to be icons out the wazoo, and we start off with nobody other than Maurice Richard. So 5'10", 180 pounds. I love this card in HUT. It's always fantastic. You can go up to an 89 overall right now for 60,000 coins or 2 power collectibles. Again, Booming Shot and Protector for the time being will activate one of those. Superstar ability, make it snappy, advanced accuracy when taking snapshots while skating. Yeah, that's okay. I don't hate it or love it. He has big rig, advanced strength and agility when driving to the net in protect puck mode. Not bad, but he's 5'10", 180, so he may need that. I'm just not sure how much that's gonna offset and help him. He also has wheels. I like wheels. I just don't know if it's worth the 10 ability points. I like it for 5. I have it for 5 points on IGOR, for example. It's fantastic. I just don't know if it's worth 10 ability points on here, but you could make him unbelievably fast. He's already an 89 speed, 91 excel, 91 agility. Shot is fantastic in the low 90s. Hands are pretty much low 90s, high 80s across the board. This is a great card, in my opinion. Obviously, he's one of the best in the game. I would say great card. If you throw wheels on him, he's going to be unbelievable. I'm just not 100% sure whether or not that 10 ability points is worth it. But overall, Maurice Richard, great card. Up next, Jean Beliveau, 6'3", 205. He's a big centerman. I love this card. 50,000 coins or 2 power collectibles to get him up to an 88. Synergies for the time being, we're just going to activate Applesauce. And let's take a look at his superstar abilities. Unstoppable Force, again, that's the advanced strength when driving to the puck to the net. I do like that one a lot. Yoink, not bad. I think it's actually pretty decent on centers and defensemen. I don't really love it on wingers, but if you have him at center, which he is a center, then I would go ahead and activate that. Born Leader, again, for the 2 ability points, I would only use Born Leader if you have room for it, and it's the only thing, you know, let's say you're at 35 ability points and you need 2 points to fill, maybe throw it on, but I'd probably activate Yoink before I would activate Born Leader. Let's look at the card stats though. 89 excel, 89 speed, that's fantastic, especially for 6'3", 205-pound player. Wrist shot accuracy is a 90, wrist shot power and slap shot points across the board are pretty much all 88 and 87. Stick checking is a 94, defensive awareness 89. I'm gonna say this is a great card. His hands, 93 for hand-eye and 96 for passing. In my opinion, larger centers are the meta this year, so I would say Jean Beliveau is a great card. Up next, we have Larry Robinson, 6'4", 225, 86 overall. You can get him up to an 87. I'm just gonna cut it short right here, guys. I had Larry Robinson last year. I loved him in NHL 21, but this card is almost unusable. We talked about speed before. I know he has Fly the Zone and Wingman, which could help him get faster, but the same thing with Rob Blake. 85 speed, 83 excel. I have a feeling he's just going to be a liability in his defensive zone. I know he's big. I know his defensive awareness is a 94 and stick checking is an 89. I want to say okay, because I like his zone ability and superstar ability, especially with stick him up, as well as truculence. But going back to it, speed's kind of the name of the game and always has been in NHL, no matter what you do. And I just can't see, I just feel like he's going to be too much of a liability in your own zone. So I have to, unfortunately, say avoid for Larry Robinson. Borderline okay, but I would have to say avoid. Sorry, Larry. Okay, this card is just absolutely unreal. 5'7", 172. He's tiny, but if you come to 85 overall, like, okay, just look at his speed. 95 speed, 94 excel. I know some people, I've seen him get played with online there. I haven't personally used this card yet. I know it's fast, but he can get absolutely bodied. So I would throw on elite edges, advanced maneuverability with the ability to turn tight corners while retaining high speed. I believe for a card like this, and it's already so fast to begin with, it's basically like having McDavid, but a tinier McDavid on the other side. Shot across the board is mid to high 80s, so it's not bad. I'm gonna say this card's good. I'm not gonna say it's great just because of the size, but his speed, especially this early in the game, is unbelievably quick. So I would say good, but I wouldn't go out of my way to go and get this card. Up next, we have Bernie at 5'9", 170. You can get him up to an 85 for 25,000 coins or one power collectible. He's okay. I mean, I would probably just avoid this card, honestly. Mid 80s, high 80s across the board in shooting. 86 speed, just not fast enough for a winger. Acceleration, I just don't believe he's going to make most lineups. He does have 1T, which I've had that activated before. In my opinion, this year, 1T just actually isn't worth it. It's just not worth activating. I don't see many one-timers, at least from the way that I've been playing NHL 22 and trying to win games and score goals. It definitely would have been activated in NHL 21 and probably NHL 20 as well, but for right now, I don't really love anything about this card. I would just avoid it. Up next, we have Henry Richard at 5'7", 161, another smaller card. You can get up to 85 overall for 25,000 coins or for one power collectible. I don't hate this card. I think it's, I would say it's okay. It's just because of the size. To me, he's too small. I know he has wheels of 5 ability points. I do like that, and I like the speed. 5'7", 161. I've had DeBrincat on my team. Very similar stats. It's just almost unusable, at least for now, unless you had a zone or superstar ability that's going to help them be stronger on the puck. These cards are really hard to play with, in my opinion, in NHL 22. Last but not least is Guy Carbonneau. Now, we did review this in a previous video, but we'll do it one more time for sake of the icon review and ranking video. You can go up to an 84 overall, 15,000 coins or one power collectible. And the same holds true with him. He's not that big, so his speed should be better. To me, it's almost unusable. I don't mind yoink on him, but this card, we'll just stop reviewing it right here because, in my opinion, it's just a flat-out avoid. The speed is not good enough. The shot's really mediocre, and this card is just unusable, in my opinion. Up next, from the New Jersey Devils, we have Marty Brodeur. 6'2", 220, 87 overall. You can get him up to an 88. You can upgrade him. You know, we're just, I don't know. I mean, avoid goalies, guys, please. Don't pick a goalie unless you love Marty Brodeur. Like, if you pull him untradeable, that's the only time I would pick him. If it's an icon choice pack, just don't do it, please. Contortionist, I've actually seen on some videos online where these saves are just unbelievably ridiculous, the animations, but probably wouldn't activate it. And Adventure, exceptional speed, acceleration, and agility, and puck handling while in free skate. That's interesting. So if he goes out to get the puck and is moving around, he's skating around like McDavid. So I have not seen anybody activate that yet, but that's an interesting one. And then All or Nothing, advanced range, accuracy, and recovery when poke checking. That's actually kind of decent, especially for the meta around the net. You know what? I'm going to say this card is okay. I wouldn't pick it, but I actually think his superstar ability of All or Nothing, I would not activate Adventure. Please don't do that. That's really weird. But All or Nothing, to me, for one ability point, is actually pretty solid. So if you just so happen to pull this card untradeable in packs, yeah, I think he's pretty decent. But again, if it's icon choice packs and we have other options out there, I think there's just a lot better options that are going to serve you and your team better than a goaltender. Next up from the New Jersey Devils, we have Scott Niedermayer, 6'1", 200 pounds. You can get up to an 86 overall for 40,000 coins or 2 power-up collectibles. Superstar ability is in reverse, much like Chris Letang's. It's one of those ones where you can skate backwards very quickly and you can basically have your head and hips on a swivel and you're not sacrificing speed. So I don't mind that one. I actually kind of like it. Elite Edges is good, especially for a quicker card like Niederreiter. 89 Excel, 89 speed. Shot for me is just not great. I think it's a great defensive card. I don't think it's a very great offensive card. So I'm gonna have to say okay for that simple fact, but I do like the fact that his defensive awareness is a 96, stick checking is a 90, speed's pretty good, but his shot's really mediocre, so I would have to say okay overall. Up next from the New York Islanders, we have 86 overall, which can be upgraded to an 87, Dennis Potvin. 6', 205, 50,000 coins or 2 power-up collectibles to get him up to that 87. He does have a distributor, and he certainly does need it. 87 speed, 84 acceleration. Shot is actually pretty good. 91 power, 88 accuracy, as well as 87 and 89 respectively on the wrist shot. He does have the Heat Seeker, which is advanced power when taking wrist or snapshots from a distance. I like that one. I don't really love it. However, I do love Seeing Eye. We talked about this earlier. It does give him exceptional power and accuracy on shots when the goalie is screened. So a screened goalie's reaction time is also greatly reduced when shooting with this ability. So that, to me, is what makes this card good. The reason it's not great is that speed. I also think he's a little bit short for a defenseman. However, defensively and offensively, this card is actually very good. 95 passing, 93 puck control, 93 defensive awareness, and 91 stick checking. If he was a little bit quicker, I'd make him great. He's borderline great, but he's only good because of the speed. Overall, the zone ability and all the other stats besides speed are phenomenal. Up next is 85 overall, which can be upgraded to an 86. Billy Smith, 5'10", 185-pound goaltender. Yeah, nothing here is really standing out to me. He's a little bit small for a goalie too. I would completely avoid this. Up next is 85 overall, which can be upgraded to an 86. Brian Chartier, 5'11", 194 pounds, 40,000 coins, or 2 power collectibles to do so. Thankfully, he does have distributor, and he certainly does need it. That brings him up to an 89 speed, 87 excel. Shot's pretty good. 91 accuracy on both the slap and the wrister, and also 87 power on both the wrister and the slap shot. Defensively, he's pretty good. 88 defensive awareness, as well as 89 stick checking. Face-offs are also an 88. Moving on to abilities, he has Crease Crasher. I think it's okay. For 3 ability points, I probably wouldn't activate it. And also he has Tape to Tape. Overall, I'm gonna say this is a good card. I like a lot of the stats where it matters, especially for a center. He's pretty good. Size-wise, I wish he was a little bit bigger, but overall, I think he can get away with using this card, and I believe that he would make most lineups. Up next is the 83 upgradable to an 84 overall Ray Ferraro. Now, a lot of you, especially if you watched my videos already, will have already selected him out of your icon choice pack. Hopefully you are liking this card. I think close quarters is phenomenal. I just wish that Ray was a little bit bigger for me. I don't really love him at the center slot. I actually moved him over to a wing, and actually most recently did take him out just for a few games. So I don't hate this card. I'm gonna classify it as okay, simply because of that shot. It's not fantastic, but this close quarters superstar ability is phenomenal. So if you do actually have that around the net, I found that I scored a lot of goals with that. I just didn't see it as much because I had him on my 4th line and he wasn't getting as much playing time, so I decided to take it off and actually just ended up removing him from my lineup. Up next from the New York Rangers is 85 overall that can be upgraded to an 86. Defensive legend Brian Leetch. You can go up to an 86 for that 40,000 coins or 2 power collectibles. He does have Light the Lamp and Booming Shot for the time being. Both pretty decent synergies, but again, wouldn't worry too much about that. He does have Tape to Tape, which I do like for only 3 ability points. I actually think that's pretty good, especially for breaking pucks out of the defensive zone. He also has Elite Edges. I wouldn't throw it on him. Especially because his speed is kind of mediocre. 86 acceleration, 85 speed. Defensively, pretty good card. Shot is high 80s across the board. Hands are pretty solid. Defensively, he's pretty decent. I'm just gonna say okay. Again, goes back to speed, guys. You need speed on your defense as well, in my opinion. Otherwise, you're gonna get burned too much, especially if you play pretty aggressive like I do. So I would say okay. If you're maybe a little bit more passive in your defense, he could potentially be good, but overall, we're just going to classify this card as okay. Up next, we have the Philadelphia Flyers, and starting off our list here is Bobby Clarke. At 5'10", 185, you can get him up to an 86 overall for 40,000 coins or 2 power collectibles. He does have Spark and Buzzing, which are going to help his speed, and he certainly does need it, and only 86 acceleration, 84 speed. Shot is pretty decent across the board. His hands are okay at the high 80s mark. Everything else is really just a pretty well-rounded card for the most part. He does have Crease Crasher, as we just recently spoke about a few minutes ago. He also has Truculence, which could be activated, but overall, guys, I'm gonna have to avoid this card. I'm sorry. I just think he's way too slow and he's not big enough. Just avoid Bobby Clarke if you get him. Up next is 6'4", 240-pound Eric Lindros. You can get him up to an 85 overall for 25,000 coins or for 1 power collectible. Also has Light the Lamp or Booming Shot. And to couple that, he has Unstoppable Force, Advanced Strength with the puck, and an increased ability to hold onto the puck when off balance. Okay, let's talk about this card. Wrist shot accuracy is an 88, wrist shot power is an 86. Hands are fantastic. Defense is actually mediocre. It pains me to say this, because although I'm a Penguins fan, I'm a hockey fan at first, and I love Eric Lindros. I really do. I know that's hard for any Penguins fan, and probably any Penguins fan should never say that, but I do love Lindros, but this card, guys, please avoid it. He's way too slow. I know he's a big body, but like 84 overall for an 85 card. His speed is not going to be even anywhere near the 90s until maybe April or May. Even then, I don't even know if he's usable. I just, yeah, avoid Eric Lindros. I'm sorry, but avoid this card. Up next, the Pittsburgh Penguins and legend Mario Lemieux. 89 overall, you get him up to a 90 for only 65,000 coins or 3 power collectibles. Again, I think I've seen 1 or 2 of these on the market on Series X, so they're not around very often. Before we get anything else, let's just look at his base stats like we did for Gretzky. First off, 6'4", 225, huge body, 93 excel, 93 speed, 95 wrist shot accuracy, 95 slap shot accuracy, 92 power for both of those as well. Stick checking is an 86, defensive awareness is a 91. This card is unfreaking believable. Now, where do you put Lemieux? That's the real question. I personally, in the past, have liked him on the wing. However, this year, I like having a bigger center. Although his speed is just unmatched, along with his size and shot. You can't go wrong either way, but I would like to at least try him out at center earlier on this year. He does have a shock and awe, which I find is interesting for only 4 ability points. Could potentially be a decent fit. He has third eye, which is that increased pass assist with the ability to auto sauce it out of your field of vision. And then lastly, he has puck on a string as his third superstar ability. I don't know if I'd really activate any of those. If I would do any of them, it would probably be puck on a string. Although I don't hate shock and awe for righties. I don't really love it for lefties for me personally. But one of those two you can maybe get away with activating, but I don't think it's really necessary. But I would possibly consider activating his zone ability because he's so fast and he's so big that nobody would be able to get the puck off of you. And again, look at those hands, 95 across the board. So obviously, guys, this is a great card. Like, there's no questions asked. If you get Lemieux, Gretzky, or Howe, take one of those. If you get all 3, just pick your poison. I would say either Lemieux or Gretzky first before Howe. But even this year with those abilities, Mr. Hockey's pretty good. But again, a great card in Mario Lemieux. Up next, we have Paul Coffey. It's 6', 205. You can get him up to an 87 overall for 50,000 coins or for 2 power collectibles. He also has Workhorse or Distributor, which is going to make him quicker. Guys, this is a great card. It really is. Why? Let's talk about it. Superstar ability is Wills. I love this in the superstar ability slot for only 5 ability points. It's going to make him unbelievably fast. 92 excel, 89 speed, 89 across the board for the most part in the shooting category. Hands are all in the 90s. Defensively, he's also great. 90 defensive awareness, 89 stick check. This is a great card. Pick up this card. He's probably one of the best defensive players in the game, and I believe he'll be able to be on your defensive pairings for the rest of the year. Our only icon from the Quebec Nordiques is Peter Stastny. 86 overall, you get him up to an 87 for 50,000 coins or 2 powered collectibles, either Magician or Well-Rounded on the Synergy side of things. He does have Magnetic, advanced skill at picking up pucks at speed, corralling, bouncing or rolling pucks, and reeling in less than ideal passes, which Lord knows I make a lot of those in this game. However, he does have tape to tape, exceptional power and accuracy on all passes within vision. Yeah, you know, I'm not really excited about any of these superstar zone abilities. Moving on to the card itself, he's 6'1", 200 pounds, so a pretty decent sized defenseman. 89 speed, high 80s and everything in the shot, 87 excel, 90 or so hands. I have used this card in the past. I do like his hands. They've always been pretty good. Also, Paul Stastny has great hands. So I would say this card is good. I don't say it's great. I don't actually say it's okay either. I think it's going to make a lot of lineups, and this is a card that I would use probably most frequently on my 4th line for me personally, but I think he's going to be overall a good card for a lot of teams. Coming up next from the St. Louis Blues is 5'11", 203-pound Brett Hall. You can get him up to an 87 for 50,000 coins or 2 power collectibles. He has Workhorse and Distributor, and he certainly needs it. And again, guys, I'm sorry. I hate to say it. Oh, this is so tough. I have to say okay. I just have to say okay. Why is he okay? Okay, let's talk about it. Superstar ability, off the rush, not gonna use it. He does have 1T, also wouldn't use that this year. His speed sucks. Like, he really needs, if he had superstar ability wheels, I'd be all about this card. but he doesn't. He has 85 excel, 83 speed. That's so unbelievably slow. It's not even funny. His shot is unreal though. 94, 95 basically across the board. That's the thing with Brett Hall cards. If you have it on a line with a lot of other fast players, you might be able to get away with it. His hands and his shooting are always unbelievable. I'm gonna put him in the okay category simply because of that shot. Otherwise, I would say avoid all out. But if you find yourself being able to play with, you know, somebody with lower speed like Hall and you're okay with that, I think you can get away with it as a winger, you know, as maybe somebody on your fourth or third line and might be pretty decent on the power play. Other than that, I would avoid this card, but we're overall gonna rank him at okay. Now, this one pains me. I love Chris Pronger. Absolute legend, absolute bruiser, 6'6", 220, 87 overall, 50,000 coins or 2 power collectibles. He has fly the zone, Lord knows he needs it, as we just mentioned before. 85 speed, 81 excel. Guys, like, I don't know why EA did this year to these cards. They're almost unusable, man. They really are. Like, his defense is unreal. 97 defensive awareness, 91 stick checking. 85 speed, though. 81 excel? Like, what? Are you kidding me? His shot's great. Hands are eh. Checking and strength and defense and everything's fantastic. So again, I want to say avoid, but I would say okay. Maybe I'm biased because it's Chris Pronger, but his defense is already so amazing that if you do pair him up with another smaller card that's quick, you might be able to get away with it. I just feel like he's going to be a liability for you more than anything else. He does have truculence, which again, 6'6", 220, his checking's already a 92 and strength is a 94. He's absolutely gonna toss people across the ice with that. And he does have stick him up, which also is a very good, in my opinion, one of the best zone abilities for a defenseman. That's the only reason he's okay, is because of his defensive abilities and also his zone and superstar ability. Up next from the Tampa Bay Lightning, Martin St. Louis. 5'8", 180, 86 overall for 40,000 coins or 2 power collectibles. He does have Thief. I love that. And he also has Elite Edges. I love it for this card. Why do I love it? 90 acceleration, 90 speed. Shot is pretty good at the high 80s. Everything is high 80s and almost 90s on hands and defense. I actually really like this card. I would say that he's great for this reason here. We talked about it before. We're gonna talk about it again. Close quarters. I'm gonna beat it into your head. This right now, for the time being, is one of the best, if not the best, offensive zone ability in the game. Exceptional power and accuracy when taking wrist and snapshots in close proximity to the net. If you get in and around the net with this card, which you should be able to because of how quick he is, now that I look at it, I probably would not activate Elite Edges. I would activate only close quarters. But he's fast enough to get you there. And he's small enough to get you in around those areas. If you can take that shot, it's gonna go in basically 8.5 to 9 times out of 10. It's broken right now, guys. Take advantage of it. So if you get this card, I'm gonna say great for that reason. Pick up Martin St. Louis. Moving on to the Toronto Maple Leafs. Matt Sundin, 65, 6'5", 231 pounds. Get him up to an 86 overall for 40,000 coins or 2 power collectibles. He has fly in the zone, and he certainly does need it. Also helps out his faceoffs at a 90 overall. I'm gonna say this card is good. Hear me out here. 6'5", 231 center. We talked about this already in this video and in videos before. For centers this year, the meta is size. He has a good shot. Everything there is high 80s. Hands are pretty good. Defense is good. Faceoffs are good. His speed actually isn't terrible. I also like his superstar ability at Big Rig, which is gonna give him advanced strength and agility when driving towards the net. So again, he's gonna be able to keep people off the puck because of his size. If you accompany that with Big Rig, it's only gonna make that more effective. In my opinion, this is a good card to have on your team and a good pickup. He has Born Leader. Again, wouldn't probably activate that one unless you just needed to fill a slot for 2 ability points. Good card, Matt Sundin. Next up is Dougie Gilmour at 5'10", 175. Going back, like we said, I had this card in multiple years on my NHL team. I would have to say avoid this year, guys. I'm sorry, I just do. Look at this card. 25,000 coins or power up collectible to update him to an 85 for the most part. But speaking of 85, that's really what you're getting in this card. 85 acceleration, 85 speed, pretty much 85 everything else across the board. He's very well rounded, but he's just really not good at anything. Quick draw, yeah, that might be okay on power plays or penalty kills, especially if you're in your defensive zone, but man, I would avoid this card. It doesn't stand out to me in any way, and I think you're going to be kicking yourself if you decided to pick this one over something else. Coming up next is Frank Mahalic at 6'1", 205. You can get up to an 85 overall for 25,000 coins or one power collectible. He does have Heart and Soul or Thief. Again, I'd probably activate Thief. And he also has Quick Pick. I do like this one. Advanced at intercepting pucks, also increases the player's range with intercepting pucks. Again, I like it more on centers than I like it anywhere else. But we're just going to stop right there. I would avoid this card. Too slow. Shot is Hands are okay, not really that fantastic. Defense is pretty good. Again, very similar to Doug Gilmour. I think you'd be kicking yourself if you pick this card. Up next is BOURQUE Salming, I believe. I could be completely butchering that, boys, and I apologize if I am. 6'1", 209. Actually not a terrible card, especially for those left-handed shot defensemen, and I'll tell you why in a second here. Let's go through it. He has Applesauce or Bombarded. I'd probably activate Bombarded. He has Back At Ya. Again, it's that one to reverse hit opponents and really knock them off their balance. So I think that's okay, but I think that's a little bit more situational, especially if you're going for it and you miss it, then you're probably going to be screwed, in my opinion. So probably wouldn't activate that. 91 stick check, 87 defensive awareness. Speed is actually pretty good. Shot's pretty decent. Yeah, I'm going to say this is an okay card. I like his passing at 94. Can help you get out of the zone fairly easily. And I think this is an okay card. You can't go wrong here. Up next is 6 foot, 190 pound Daryl Sittler. For 25,000 coins or one power collectible, you can upgrade him. He does have Spark or Buzzing, which is going to help increase his speed, but I just don't think it's enough. Crease Crasher also, I think that's okay. It's not great or horrible. It's kind of middle of the road. Superstar ability, you could probably activate it for 3 ability points. It wouldn't hurt you. His shot is good, but overall that speed is what kills him, and I don't think he's really big enough to make up for it as a centerman, and his face-offs, quite frankly, suck. Although it only affects you in offline play, I would have to say avoid this card. Coming up next is Eddie Olczyk at 6'1", 201. We talked about this in the Icon Choice Pack. If you have them already, I'm sorry. In my opinion, this card is just simply not good. I do like Big Rig, especially for these bigger players, but I think Eddie's a little bit too slow. I don't think he's big enough, and I don't think his shot and hands are good enough to make up for all the areas that he's lacking in. So I would also say avoid Eddie Olczyk. Moving on to the Vancouver Canucks, we talked about this one also in the Icon Choice Pack video, is Marcus Naslund. Now I think he's an okay card. He can get up to an 84 overall for 15,000 coins or one power collectible. I think he's big enough and strong enough in other areas where he can make up for his slightly lackluster skating at 86 overall in both speed and acceleration. Wrist shot is 89 in accuracy, 87 on power. His hands are actually pretty good, and his defensive abilities are pretty decent as well. Superstar ability is Snipe. I would not activate that, but overall I would say this is an okay card. I'm not getting too excited about really anything else on here. I'd say avoid for the most part. He's borderline avoid and okay. If you like Naslund, I don't think he's really going to terribly hurt you, but he's not going to help you in any way. Up next from the Washington Capitals, 84 overall. You can get him up to an 85, Mike Gartner. 6'1", 190, 25,000 coins or one power collectible to do that upgrade. He either has Light the Lamp or Bombarded. I actually really like this card, guys, and there's a couple of reasons why. Again, I would not activate off the rush, but this card alone is pretty solid. 92 acceleration, 91 speed. His shot's actually pretty phenomenal. 93 already on the shot power with that, or you could increase that wrist shot ability with Light the Lamp, which is going to bring him almost up to an 89 across the board there. I really like this card. His hands are pretty good. His defense is a little bit lackluster. I think his speed and his shot is really where it's going to count and where you're going to make the difference here. I would say this is a good card overall. Last but not least, we have the Winnipeg Jets. Teemu Salami, 6'2", 209. You can get him up to an 87 overall for 50,000 coins or two power collectibles. Also has Light the Lamp or Booming Shot. I'd probably activate Light the Lamp on him, and I really do like this card. This is a great card. Why? Well, it's pretty self-explanatory. 93 on the acceleration, 93 on the speed, pretty much 90 across the board. High 80s on the shooting. His hands are unbelievable, as well as his defense is great at defensive awareness, 91, stick checking 92. He does have an ankle breaker, which may not be bad to activate. He also has 10 ability points on the wheels. Again, that's up to you. If he's on your first line, I would say activate that. If he's anywhere below that, probably not worth spending 10 ability points on anybody below your first line, in my opinion. Also, I do like Ankle Breaker, but I probably wouldn't activate that if you were to activate Wheels, but at least activate one of these. I would say overall, great card as we mentioned, and definitely pick him up if you pull him in a pack. And rounding out our list on the icon rankings is Dale Hawerchuk. 5'11", 185, you get him up to tier 2 or 85 overall for 25,000 coins or 1 power collectible. He does have Thief, which I really do like on any of our centers, especially any really buddy on the team in general. And he also does have Quick Draw. Probably wouldn't activate that. 88 acceleration, 88 speed. Shot is pretty high 80s. Hands are decent. I would say overall this card is borderline good, but I think I'm just going to classify him at okay. That's it for me today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you haven't subscribed yet and you love NHL 22 content, make sure you do. I'd greatly appreciate it. Again, I'm Man Advantage, and I'll see you next time.